Greetings and welcome to the Corporate Governance and Ethics Learning Session. The topic is board governance models. We are going to study the fundraising board model, fundraising board model. We are continuing with the study of board governance models. This is the fifth board governance model, which is the fundraising board model. In this lesson, we will describe the fundraising board model. We will discuss the characteristics and then the benefits and the drawbacks of the fundraising board model. So by the end of the lesson, we should be able to describe the fundraising board model and also discuss the benefits, characteristics, and limitations of this governance model. First of all, what is the fundraising board model all about? Now, this is a governance model in which the board of directors focuses primarily on raising funds for the organization. And it is commonly used by non-profit organizations that rely heavily on donations from individuals and other organizations to fund their operations. And in this model, the board of directors are responsible for developing and implementing fundraising strategies to meet the organization's financial needs. So the board is usually composed of individuals who have experience and expertise in fundraising, in marketing, and also finance. And such individuals work closely with the organization's management team to develop fundraising plans and also set fundraising goals and identify potential donors. The model places a strong emphasis on financial success of the organization, and the board is held accountable for the achieving fundraising targets. And as a result, the board may spend a significant amount of time and resources on fundraising activities such as organizing fundraising events, soliciting donations, building relationship with potential donors, and so on. That's what fundraising board model is all about. It is where the board primarily focuses on raising funds for the organization. That's the key point. The board primarily focuses on raising funds. The board primarily focuses on raising funds for the organization. So here are some of the characteristics of this kind of governance model. Now, the first characteristic is in relation to the board composition. Board composition. The board, as I said, is primarily composed of individuals who are selected for their personal wealth, their social standing, their influence, and also their extensive networks. And these individuals are expected to leverage their connections and resources to raise funds for the organization. Board composition. Individuals who are wealthy, who are connected, who have connections, who are influence, who have social standing, and so on. Second feature is fundraising focus. Focus on fundraising. The primary responsibilities of the board is to secure financial resources for the organization, and that involves making personal donations, soliciting contributions, and also organizing fundraising activities. Fundraising focus. That is the second feature. The board has limited operational involvement. Limited operational involvement. The board has limited operational involvement. Now, while the board may provide input on organization strategic direction, their primary involvement is fundraising rather than the day-to-day operations. They may participate in strategic planning, but their main focus remains on fundraising. Securing financial support, and fundraising is the main focus of a fundraising board model. The fourth feature is in relation to the CEO and executive director role. CEO, executive director role. Now, the CEO or the executive director is responsible for managing the organization's operations, implementing programs, ensuring that the organization achieves its mission, and so on. However, they often work closely with the board in order to ensure fundraising goals are met, and also to communicate the organization's needs to potential donors. 5 is emphasis on relationship. Emphasis on relationships. The board's success in fundraising often relies on the ability to build and maintain relationships. Building and maintaining relationships. These are relationships with donors, relationships with potential sponsors, relationship with community leaders, and that involvement, such involvement helps the company to ensure that fundraising objectives are met. And that involves cultivating relationships through personal interactions, through events, through communication strategies, and so on. Emphasis on relationships. 6, accountability. Accountability. Here, the board is accountable for achieving fundraising objectives, for achieving fundraising targets, and ensuring the financial sustainability of the organization. And they report on their fundraising progress to organization's members, the donors, and any other stakeholders. So these are 6 features of fundraising board model. Benefits. What are the benefits of a fundraising board model? The first benefit is effective fundraising. 1, effective fundraising. Effective fundraising. This model, its most significant advantage is its ability to attract substantial financial support or resources for the company. And board members often are often selected for their wealth, their connections, and they can then leverage their networks to secure significant donations and sponsorships for the organization. That's advantage number one, effective fundraising. Because the ones who are selected on this board are influential people, are wealthy people, are people with connections, and they can help fundraise effectively. Two, network expansion. That's the second benefit. The connections and influence of the board members can often open doors to new partnerships, to new collaborations, and also opportunities. And that can lead to increased visibility for the organization and broader impact in the community. Network expansion. Three, reduced operational burden. This model enables the board members to have least involvement in operational activities, because by focusing primarily on fundraising, the board relieves the CEO and the staff of its responsibility, allowing them to focus on program implementation and achieving the organization's mission. And that can lead to greater efficiency and also effectiveness in the use of organization's resources, reduced operational burden. The fourth benefit, prestige and credibility. Prestigious. Is it not prestigious to have influential people on the board? Yes, it is. That's another benefit. A board composed of well-known, well-respected individuals can enhance the organization's prestige and credibility. And that can attract additional donors, volunteers, and also partners who are drawn to the organization's reputation, prestige, and credibility. That's the fourth benefit. 5, access to expertise. The organization will have access to expertise because board members often bring valuable expertise, valuable experience from their respective fields, which can benefit the organization in areas such as strategic planning, financial management, fundraising, and also marketing. Access to expertise. 6, community engagement. Community engagement. Now, through their fundraising efforts, board members can raise awareness. This is awareness of the organization mission, and also they can engage with the community in its work. And that can lead to increased support, increased participation from the members of the public. Community engagement. So these are 6 benefits. We are going to highlight the drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? What are the limitations of the fundraising board model? The first obvious limitation is limited board diversity. Limited board diversity. Limited board diversity. Now, the emphasis on financial capacity and social connections can result in a homogeneous board lacking diverse perspectives, skills, and also experiences, and that can hinder innovation. It can also hinder decision making because the emphasis here is fundraising, and that is a disadvantage. Two, there is potential for conflicts of interest. Potential for conflicts of interest. Board members' personal financial interests or even affiliations may conflict with the organization's priorities, leading to biased decision making and perception of impropriety. That is a drawback. Three, reduced board engagement is a disadvantage. Reduced board engagement. Now, with a primary focus on fundraising, board members may become disengaged from other aspects of governance, such as strategic planning, program evaluation, thereby limiting their overall contribution to the organization's success. Reduced board engagement. Number four, dependency on a few individuals is a disadvantage. Depending on a few individuals. Depending on a few individuals. Now, the organization's financial health becomes heavily reliant on fundraising capabilities of a few board members. And if these individuals leave or reduce their involvement, then the organization's financial stability may be jeopardized. That is a limitation. The fifth limitation is perception of elitism. 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 Perception of elitism. Perception of elitism. Elitism. Perception of elitism. Elitism. Now, the models, these models emphasis on wealth and social status can create a perception of exclusion or elitism, potentially alienating potential donors and even volunteers who do not belong to the same circles. So where people perceive that this board is that of elite, that can in itself alienate potential donors, it can alienate potential volunteers who may not belong to the same circle of wealthy individuals and individuals with social status. And that poses a danger to the fundraising board model. So these are 5 drawbacks, 6 benefits, 6 characteristics of fundraising board model, where we say that it is a board model that is primarily focused on raising funds for the organization. The first characteristic we mentioned was in relation to the board composition. Number 2, fundraising focus. Number 3, limited operational involvement. Number 4, we discussed the CEO or executive director's role. We say that the director may sit in the board so that they can give feedback or focus on operational record of the organization. Then number 5, emphasis on relationships. And lastly, accountability. We've identified 6 benefits. Number 1, effective fundraising. Number 2, network expansion. Number 3, reduced operational burden. Number 5, It's prestigious to have a fundraising board model because of the social status of the board members and so on. Number five, access to expertise, and lastly, community engagement. Then the drawbacks. One, the board may have limited um, diversity because of emphasis on social status and fundraising. Number two, there is potential for conflict of interest. Number three, there is reduced board engagement because the board members may focus primarily on fundraising. Number four, dependency on a few wealthy individuals or individuals who have social status. Then lastly, perception of elitism. These are the drawbacks and characteristics as well as the benefits of the board fundraising board model. Now that will mark the end of this lesson, but here are 4 questions for your assignment. Number one, what are the primary functions and responsibilities of a fundraising board within a nonprofit organization? Number two, how does a fundraising board model integrate with the other governance structures to support an organization's financial sustainability? Number three, what strategies can a fundraising board employ to attract and retain high-level donors and sponsors? Number four, how can an organization measure the effectiveness of its fundraising board and the impact of its effort on overall funding? These are 4 questions. Please attempt the questions. In our next session, we are going to study the characteristics or features, benefits, and the drawbacks of the traditional model. Thank you. God bless you. Bye bye.